We are live. Bring us in. Awesome. And here we are.
And we're live.
Hello, everyone. We are live for another AI office hours with my good friend David Chudak and myself, Rob Hoosein from Tricycle AI.
Good to see you guys.
Good to see everybody. We're going to be talking about marketing AI or AI in marketing and AI marketing that moves the needle. And I know
we had some stuff we wanted to cover last week, but we had our great friend Hish from Oxford on, and we had a good talk there. So we didn't get to sort of brush through some of the new tooling that was coming out last week. But yeah, there's been some cool new tools that have floated out into the market this last week, and just lots of cool stuff going on.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it's very cool. I think one of the coolest ones was one you were telling me about. This from Google Labs Pomelli, which I know you're going to be talking about.
Really cool. Yeah.
When you showed me it really kind of blew my brains out, and I was like, that's really cool. That's going to make a difference to a lot of marketers out there, especially that have to create all kinds of different content.
That's it. And it's sort of like it leverages all of their great tools and all the great nano banana stuff and sort of wraps it into a like brand analyzer where it gets all your main brand components and is able to do like auto gen sort of content, but also user gen content with directives on, orientation and stuff like that, and content and refining content. So very cool. We'll get into that a little bit in a little bit. And I know you had some fun stuff you wanted to talk about too today, Rob.
Yeah. I didn't know if you want to do that first or if you want to.
Yeah, we can. Yeah, we can jump. Yeah, let's jump right in. I thought we'd give just a little overview. Also today, we'll talk a little bit about sort of like just general platforms that are getting more powerful. Like Rob, you wanted to talk about Canva. I was going to talk about Wix and Shopify a little bit and just like how quickly they're moving into the AI space. So yeah, let's dive in though. I'll if you want to share that screen there, and I can sort of walk you through here.
All right, give me 1 second. I'm going to just move to our. There we go. Can you see that there?
Yeah. So that's perfect. So if you can just see here, we've already uploaded the brand DNA. So we've put in our Tricycle website, and it's gone through and analyzed and created some very impactful auto sort of campaigns of what it imagines could be some good campaigns. But you can also go in and create your own after this. So I'm going to show you another site here, and we're going to go back into business DNA here, and I'm going to reset the business DNA, and we're just going to delete all, and we're going to dive into it like a new user. So this is what the user is going to see. If you guys are out there and you're like, oh, I'm going to go give Pomelli a try, it's in Google Labs right now, go in here, and the first thing you're going to do is generate your business's DNA. So I'm just going to put in Disney.com, and we're going to do an example.
Oh, maybe it didn't like that. It was Disney.com though. Maybe they have that stuff locked down, you think?
Maybe there's some, maybe they've got some content locked. So we're going to go back. Let's just go back and restart here.
Yeah.
So we'll do it for Tricycle. And it's going to analyze our website. It's going to pull up the website, look at all of the content, all of the style, the font types, any of the images that we have on there that could be used to leverage campaigns towards our services and all that stuff. So, and you can see now we're inside here, and it's got some logos. It didn't pick up any other branding elements, but it's got the aesthetics, the values, the tone, our tagline, picked up all the colors, picked up the logos with their transparencies. Looks good. Okay. So it's going to auto gen some content right away. Just based on what your messaging is on your website, it's going to be like, here, we've got some really good stuff for you. Savings guaranteed, and you've got some great campaigns that you can start pushing out there. So if you've got a marketing team who's driving this stuff and they're taking time to concept and do all this stuff and approve, Now, let's say we go into one of these ads and, something we don't like, we can fix the layout, right? We can change it around. We can go into the header and we can play with the copy. We can add a call to action. So yeah, really cool, really powerful stuff. Um, I would say it's pretty quick, for what it is. Like it's redoing, like based on all of your brand DNA, right? So it has to go back and sort of ping back and forth to make sure it's sticking to all that stuff. But it's pretty responsive. It's pretty cool. If you go back here, let's say you go to do your own creative here, and yeah, you can put in an image. You can say what orientation. So let's say we're going to put it on Instagram. We want a square orientation. I want an ad that focuses on the benefits of voice AI. Okay, we're going to generate that. So I think this is probably going to end up, like, once it's out of labs, have very strong API MCP connectors, so that inside of like marketing marketing automation interfaces like N8N and some of the other automation tools, you're going to start to be able to talk to tools like this, where you have a preset brand DNA and you've got something very reliable with Rails, and you can get it to start automating content creation, where the content creation side is very locked in. Because I know that, like, auto-genning content and spinning it up and going through just like the language models, you have to really throw some like very definite rails in there. And this gets you a lot quicker towards like a campaign that like is suitable in a lot shorter period of time. So you can see here, stop paying agents for hold time. So AI voice agents cut down customer service costs by 40%. So you can see just something really cool, hits the message, gets people to click. You can add a call to action if you want. Throw that in there. So just some cool tools. I want everyone to sort of have access to start playing with this stuff. I thought it was cool. I thought it's sort of like low-hanging fruit type of stuff where,
I think it's very cool, because even if you're a marketing manager, coordinator, in any type of marketing department, that you've got to create all kinds of different content. You're either working with the designer, or you're doing it yourself.
That's precisely it, Rob. Yeah, that's precisely it. Maybe you're a guy who's higher up with less design knowledge, but you can come into this tool and feed it an image, maybe, and give it like a basic concept, and then you have something to give your creative department to say, hey, let's run an ad that looks like this. And at least you're able to, like, in a way where you can like talk to the ad essentially with Gemini and say, create me an ad, and like to take this and create a concept. Maybe you make 10 of these in like 10 minutes, and then you've got some like stuff where you guys get like some brainstorm going with your marketing team. So you don't just have to directly use these as campaigns. You definitely could, but it could be something that, as a thought leader and someone who's on the managerial side, and you're trying to like really get like some ideas quickly to give to your team, like this is also a great tool.
Yeah, I think that's amazing. And the fact, from what I understand, I really like how it goes and grabs your brand. When I was playing with it, it asked me to upload my logos, and then it knew and choose my logo as that's my logo file. So then it knew whenever to add in the logo, it would use that file. So I thought it was what I liked about it was this user face and the user experience you had by picking those items and then going through. Whereas if you're using some of the broad tools, or even if it's Nano Banana, or you're in something like ChatGPT or Gemini or any of the other ones, you're kind of fumbling through it or prompting it.
It's almost like the AI right now is on the front side of where operating systems were during DOS. And we're making that leap towards like usable interfaces like that, that are very tactile and make sense. And it's like that process of getting there is very organic, and that's the key, is making interfaces that are very easily usable, that achieve those end goals without all that expert knowledge sort of like, and like sitting there and like really using the tool for like 100 hours to get familiar with it. And there's benefits to being on the front side and being that dude that knows stuff before everyone else. But like, this is what's happening with AI, is like, maybe something everyone else doesn't know for maximum a year right now. And then people are productizing those things because they know they can make money on productizing them, right? So they're like, hey, we could make this easy, make it a turnkey solution. This guy knows that he needs us because he doesn't want to spend 100 hours going knee deep in the thing at at that agent level. They want a solution that incorporates all those things and is reliable and easy and just predictable. Yeah.
Are there any agentic AI tools out there for marketing right now?
You can use there's a lot of ways to use Manus, for example, to assist with that and to connect to marketing MCPs and stuff like that. Like there's almost a limitless amount of stuff out there right now. I would say for the average user, it's still like you're going down the tunnel. Like this is one of those solutions that's very polished, and it's coming out and it's serves a purpose, and it's turnkey, right? So it's in terms of stuff like that, it is coming out, but it's this is when the major players like Google start to do stuff like this, it's very meaningful, right? It's like Comet from Perplexity, or some of these tools that are coming out that are really allowing the layperson to very easily access AI technology in a normal way that doesn't stretch far outside their normal workflow. Like me using a browser and then being able to pull up an assistant while I'm using the browser and just talking to it to do stuff in my browser. That's an easy leap forward, right? It's not like you have to be in at some root level and PowerShell and doing all this stuff with agents to achieve these are just meaningful things that the average person that has not even a great knowledge in computers can do, right? So I think that's the important part, is what are these solutions that the average person can use? And I think that a lot of that stuff's coming out, and OpenAI just came out with their browser, and I'm hearing some cool stuff about that. And I think it's just sort of edging forward, pushing the envelope forward a little bit at a time, and changing the way that people use these tools. And it can't happen overnight. It's sort of all of this one day will merge up in an augmented reality, virtual reality world where all of these tools are layers of user interface.
So, what was that address, or where can people find the Pomelli, or do they just
let me just sort of you can Google Pomelli. Let me sort of just get this here. It's in Google Labs, and it's Pomelli, and I will put I'm going to put the URL in our chat right now here in the studio so everyone can see that's watching. And then if you just go, it's labs.google.com. And you can go to Google Labs and find that. It's called Pomelli, Pomelli.
Perfect.
Give it a look, everybody. It's very cool.
And it's free, right? It's free.
And it's free.
Just go in and just play with it. So
right now, it's in the labs. I think they're trying to get as many people using it as possible to to refine the tool and get it producing more reliable stuff. But for me, I've had great results, and if I don't, I just talk to it using the tool, and off to the races.
Can't post comments. Well, okay, I'm gonna see if I can post it in another way.
Are you trying to put the link up? That'd be
cool. Just for everybody, because that came through our price.
Sorry, guys, we're AI specialists, not StreamYard specialists.
StreamYard.
I wouldn't even say it. Nobody's a specialist or an expert. I always say that too. We're AI enthusiasts.
Yes, AI enthusiasts.
Who are just deeper in it. Yeah, that's it. Because
it's very cool.
You can't be too on top of things when everything's changing so quickly these days.
I know. And so I think to kind of springboard off of it, one of the things I wanted to talk about, and I'll just kind of preface it with saying I didn't prepare a bit of a presentation or anything, but just with Canva, I think they came out, it was late last week with their keynote of all these new tools. I definitely recommend, if you have Canva, as soon as you open it up, it's right at the top of your screen. It says watch our keynote. It's on YouTube. It's about an hour and a half, But the cool things that popped out, or the one that I thought was super cool, is their whole creative operating system, they're calling it. That they've given it a bit of an overhaul, and they're showing how while you're designing elements, there'll be an AI assistant there helping you.
Mhm.
So think of, you're trying to work out a design. Now you have a graphic designer sitting next to you, or an AI design creative sitting next to you, and looking at and reviewing all your work and what you're doing, and making sure things stay consistent. They've also started implementing tools. And I think this goes back to one of the conversations we had where, um, these platforms are starting to implement AI because they've already got the users, they've already got people there using these tools. So, similar to Microsoft implementing Copilot into all their apps, Canvas.
Yeah, and I find I find like it's interesting because I'm thinking as like a user of Canva and like how easy it is and how different its approach is from like pro interfaces like Figma.
Mhm.
But in a like if you look at the future of design, like the data points are there to turn to agentify design in Canva much more than they are in Figma, because it uses a lot of relative spacing cues and it's got a lot of that already in the programming. So the power of using that to analyze what good design is and leverage that to agentically command design is already there, in my opinion, in Canva. So if they hit it properly, integrating with that as a design tool to build front ends might be so powerful on the agentic side. And what might be what's missing right now, it might be the missing piece in the puzzle to designing like really reliably good front ends agentically.
Yeah, yeah. No, I can see that, and I think the like you had mentioned, like the pro users and then the everyday users, right? And
Yeah,
uh, before Figma, from what I know, and my experience or background with creative agencies, was there was this barrier to entry of having to have Adobe platforms, Illustrator, Photoshop, InDesign, being
precisely.
a proficient in those apps and knowing it. And these guys went and they got acronyms and letters to their name, like they went to design school and they learned these fundamentals, but they had to use these applications, they had to use
Yeah.
powerful Mac machines.
And the thing is, Rob, is that all of that is like a gut check for them while they're designing. And what's going on in their brain is actually what Canva is doing for as a turnkey for that non-pro user to be like, hey guys, best practices that all of these should be spaced the same in between and they should be centered here. And agentifying that based on those data points is going to be like so powerful, and being able to put in build vector databases of what design best practices are so that that agent is referencing what all of that spacing and text knowledge and all of this, like it's just so mind-blowing what the future is. And just before you dive in there too, Rob, what I'm seeing too is in the 3D design world is wild, in the CAD world. So Blender, which is an open source 3D design CAD program, actually has an MCP now. So
Mhm.
like, it's not an official MCP. Someone built an MCP, but you can control all of Blender agentically now. So you can build an MCP server within your agentic environment and talk to Blender and build 3D models at it, or edit them, or do anything at a text level, which is just freaking mind blowing. Like, to wrap your head around building things from voice or from text is just like, right?
Yeah,
So
no.
the 2D designs go in that direction, but 3D design is all already gravitating towards that as well. Yeah.
And it makes sense. They all should be. And the one caveat I have, or the one thing I want to stress, is if you're a graphic designer out there, I hope you're embracing these tools because they give you that extra boost, that rocket ship
Yeah.
ahead of just regular, because you could take it to another level. I still value the skill set. Like some of the things that we've seen Riley develop and build, I think are super cool.
Oh, it's
And
amazing.
he's got that creative background, and so if, like, even me, I go in there and I start playing around, I don't think I would get to the level he's getting to, but you
No,
could get
no,
close, you can do
that's the
cool
thing,
things,
is
right?
this cannot replace
No.
that expert level pro. Like Riley does stuff that Canva might not ever be able to
Yeah,
do. And
exactly.
that's okay, because
Yeah,
maybe Canva can help him get to 90% with 10 different concepts. So now you're spending the same amount of time to get to that first proof of concept. Now you've got 10 instead of one.
yeah,
And now you can refine the top three
yes,
much quicker. And now you like, so we're getting towards being able, it's like the, infinite monkey typewriter sort of
yeah,
conversation where
yeah.
like, can we get some like better results like by leveraging these things plus adding that human touch on the end, right?
Exactly, exactly. That
Yeah.
human creativity or that human inspiration, experience, all that
Yeah.
stuff. And
Anyway, I don't want to
yeah,
interrupt from doing some presentation here. I know you had some
no,
insight.
no, no. Though, like that was the main thing that came out of it that I thought was really cool. That they have this design-aware AI model that they're calling
Yeah.
it, that I think is really cool. Then they've built stuff in where you can actually build uh, email design, so build branded emails and export clean HTML, no code, no nothing. You just and you can have
Amazing.
beautiful emails, forms, and sheets. And coding they're rolling into Canva.
And if you
So
think about some of the use cases for that, like those emails, if you're tying in, like you could be sending things that are agentically built within an application and then call on that to have like to be designing HTML emails instead of just raw text emails that are much more visually appealing. And now it's just part of a workflow, right? So you
yeah,
predetermined your look and feel, and now it's just going in and boom, it's
yeah.
giving you like the perfect like email send, right? So that's the cool part, is these are all like puzzle pieces in your finished product essentially.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. So, I mean, it's just to say that they released all these new little cool tools. I would suggest if you're not a Canva user or if you've just been playing with it for some simple layouts and some simple graphic stuff, put aside a few minutes every day and just kind of dive into it. I was playing with their video creation tool, and I
Yeah.
was actually pretty surprised. It does have limitations. It's only doing like 16 by 9 layouts.
Yeah.
It's not doing vertical like I can't remember off the top of my head what it is, but for like social and things like that. But it's creating some cool ads. It did some similar things I saw other video tools do. Not like a Sora, not like a VO3 or anything, but
Yeah.
the
And
simple
I
stuff.
will
And
say, like, I'll echo that. Like, I'm a huge fan of like powerful pro level tools, but I like don't be the guy that's like, I won't embrace this like tool, because like back when like web design started, like, like it was, there's a lot of people slanging like just raw HTML and feeling like gangsters, but like really the WYSIWYG editor guys were the guys that were getting a lot better visual results at the time, just because it was much more powerful to like you had this interface where it was visual and you could start building things, right? So I would say like don't be the person that like is like ew Wix and ew, like like you got to know, like, first of all, what's my purpose? Am I just trying to get something going that's like beautiful and like not spend too much time on it? Like you got to know what the right solution for the right job is.
yeah,
And for most people, like using these tools is like a good play, especially in this like AI powered surge where all these products that were just sort of like, basic web tool, like turnkey web solutions, have now become these like really good, like design bolstered tools, which I think are like most people are like sort of like turn a nose at them or whatever, and like have this like sort of like snob towards like easy tools. But I would say don't shy away from using stuff that's easy to use, like just
yeah,
because it's easy to use. Like focus on learning something else that's complex with the time that you saved,
yeah.
because like just doing it the hard way for the sake of doing it the hard way is not the way to do things in 2025.
Exactly, exactly, exactly. And like,
Yeah.
yeah, it goes back to like you're saying, like, what are you trying to do? What's that purpose?
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I thought the thing that their sound bite that I thought was really interesting was Canva's not just a design app anymore; it's a creative OS for marketing teams. Now
Love
that's
it.
marketing talk, but I thought that was pretty cool. I was
Love
like,
it.
yeah, I think that's pretty cool. I think that would get people into it. So I suggest checking out their creative OS. Check out Canva right now if you're not using it, but I think a lot of people are out there using it. Um, One of the other things that we were talking about, I know we always go through this time really
I know
quick.
we'll
Now
end up
like
talking about
5 minutes.
Shopify next week for
I
sure.
know. Did you want to at least touch on that now? I feel
Not
like
at
maybe
all.
we're
No,
not.
no, guys, this is a
Okay.
teaser. I said
Yeah.
Shopify is doing lots of cool stuff. Next week, we're going to talk about Shopify.
Okay, we're gonna get right into Shopify AI
Yeah.
stuff next week. So
Yeah.
come back next week. I guess the last thing, there were other things that we wanted to talk about, but something I read that I thought was really cool. I think it ties into exactly what we're talking about. Coca-Cola just started promoting their new holiday ad that's coming out, and they worked with this company called Silverside AI to build it and develop it. And what I thought interesting was the guy at Coca-Cola was saying, when we do these things, we start last year. We take a year to develop these cool Christmas commercials for Coca-Cola, right?
Because the impact is massive. Like you
Massive,
gotta
right?
like
People
it's like you
love
can't
it.
yeah.
You can't shortchange it, right? And
Yeah.
then the cost to produce these things were like, he in the article I was reading, he didn't get into the cost. But what he said was now we're starting in a month. Now it takes us a month to do what would take us 12 months before.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And he said
Because the special effects and all of the like you used to have to do all that stuff in Flame and do it like custom and map all the textures and surfaces. It was wild. And I know guys that are amazing at that, and probably AI can't get, as good in some stuff. But I mean, like the AI video tools are accelerating so rapidly right now, like that race to creating like storyboarding tools that you can stitch together like full feature length film. I mean, like the only thing that needs to come down for the average user is cost, because you're looking at like 25-second videos are costing $3 US on the very cheapest side of these like tools. So like it's fine for production video places that were spending millions of dollars and now can turn towards this for special effects. They're all in on it because it's saving them so much money. But for but for people that are trying to build solutions on it, it's still a little costly.
Yeah.
Because like if you're building solutions on it too, like video gen stuff can be unpredictable on the side of like stuff that's being output. So for a filmmaker, they can output 100 of them and pick the best one for each of those scenes. For a tool like an application, for example, that's leveraging a video production API, and we're working on a production tool right now, you have to set up such good guardrails to get consistent outputs. And that's the key, is when you're building off of it, is you want it to be predictable and produce things that are like good and right the first time, because if you don't, you end up with problems, right? So it's kind of like that's the challenge on the user side right now, but amazing for like filmmakers. And I know a guy that's actually an AI filmmaker, and he was down in LA collecting an award recently, and he's like all in on using all of the different video tools to produce films. But like it's not like films, like they actually look like films made in like 1970, and like really like very interesting stuff going on in AI filmmaking right now, where people are like bringing back like sort of like Renaissance film techniques and like filmmaking through AI. And it's just like very cool to see like that you can take your imagination can take you anywhere, and you can sort of like do that as a guy just by himself at a desk without this whole team and the whole, like, it's just really crazy to me.
It's wild, but it goes back to that whole thing, pro users, everyday users. It's allowing everyday users to almost be a pro or be close to it and create. And what I've always loved about AI is, it helps you bring those ideas to life. Whereas before you had to have a whole team and you had to have a whole bunch of people, and maybe you didn't have the capital or you didn't have the investment. And now it's letting a lot of people explore their creativity, and very cool.
Yeah, it's super cool, man. And it's just like, it gets your ideas down on the page so fast, where I was saying, like, imagine a pencil that only allowed you to write at 1 word per minute, and how hard it would be to write. And it's the same thing with like ideation. Like if you can't spill stuff onto a page and get ideas flowing quickly, it's just such a disservice to the way that human creativity works. It's just like, so the quicker we get towards like being able to tell our ideas to something and get them out there and develop them, I think like the better. And I know there's a lot of like pros and cons from people in the artistic community, but like I don't like to get into those conversations. There's still people who do impressionist painting, but there's guys that draw on digital art tabs. Did digital art tabs kill impressionist painting? Obviously not. There's still people painting, right? So I mean, just evolution of art, evolution of video, evolution of everything, and you can't stop it. Don't try.
No. And I always feel like there's space for both. Like people,
Yeah, there
like
is.
vinyl has made such a big resurgence. I don't know, in the last 10 years, if not around there. And it's
Yeah.
like there are purists, there are people who are like, no, I have a record player. I'm listening to vinyl.
It's funny, Rob. Yeah, it's funny. I know we're over time, but that exact thing happened. I'll just sort of finish off the show here, where I was on a AI meeting and this guy was drawing on a digital art tab. And after I got off the call, he's like, hey, do you think like art is going to get killed by like this? And I was like, well, you're the guy on a digital pad saying that. I'm like, what about someone like before those digital pads came out, talking about like how it invalidates art and all of these things, but like you yourself know that that's not true, and you're able to build these cool. And then I was like, what are you working on? And he was drawing some cool, like it looked like a Street Fighter scene. And I'm like, you want to see something cool? Let's just take a picture of that and turn it into a video of the two guys fighting. And he was just like, whoa, this is so cool. And I was like, see, like it's like it depends on your perspective. And there's some cool stuff happening right now, and it's like it's up to you what side you're on, and there's no right or wrong side. You can stick to whatever, but if like that interests you, go down that tunnel and check it out, because it's fun. And anyway, that's all I gotta say.
No, I think that's a great way to end the show. We went over a couple minutes, but as always, it's always a pleasure chatting with you, man, about AI stuff
same.
And everything.
Same.
So next week, Shopify.
Yeah, next week we'll discuss Shopify. Hopefully we can get through some of that and just talk about some of the cool stuff and the AI partnerships and the way that they're forward thinking about how AI is impacting their business and how to stay at the forefront of e-commerce. So very cool.
So that will be our topic for next week. Tune in next week, Wednesdays at 3 p.m. We're always here on LinkedIn. We'll let you guys get back to it. I know it's at the end of the day. Any last words, Dave?
No, just come see us next week. And if you can't, then watch the recording. Give us a thumbs up, like and subscribe.
Check us out. Follow Tricycle AI. And thanks everybody for joining us. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next week. Until then, have a great day.
Yep. See you guys.
Take care.